Hey there, how are you guys doing? Mike Acquisto and Shauna Acquisto, real estate brokers and co-owners with Acquisto Real Estate. And today we're going to be speaking about indie brokerages, and their greatest strengths.
What is an indie brokerage?
Hey, that's a good question. So the first thing we need to do is identify it, right? And talk about what we are speaking about. So Shauna, your definition of an indie broker
is an independent broker. At our association, Collin County Association of Realtors, an independent broker is a brokerage that has 20 or less agents that they sponsor.
Okay, 20 or less. And this definition is accepted within your...
With our association, I think some vary just a little bit. Some are 50, maybe up to 100, but I haven't heard anything over 100.
Okay, in your experiences, you got to serve within that capacity, right? So tell us about that.
I was the chair of our independent broker network at Collin County, and, it was amazing because we brought... what we would do is have monthly meetings, and all the independent brokers would come, and we would have lunch and a speaker. And so we would have different speakers come in and teach us things. Sometimes they're from the bigger brokerages. Sometimes they're attorneys, just, speakers to speak on relevant topics for,
Okay.
And real estate.
Background size, Collin County Association, we're in the northern area of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, right? And kind of like the northern suburb, a quickly growing area. And about how many members are part of this?
We have about 9,000 realtors. We also, our membership is also made up of affiliates, which are, title companies, lenders, different vendors that we use. But actual realtors, it's about 9,000.
Okay. Very cool. And you just recently elected, right? You're kind of like a big deal there. You've served on the board of directors for a while now.
Go on.
And I'm super proud of her, right? It's kind of a big deal. And you're elected the secretary, which becomes a treasurer. Can you explain that?
Incoming secretary treasurer, which then becomes president-elect and goes on to become president of the association.
So you're going to be president? Does that make me first man? Is that a weird... I don't know how it... Anyways.
Yes, it does.
We'll have to think about that. All right, so let's
get... on some socks.
Yeah, put that on socks and wear it. You might need to refer to a previous episode to be able to get that reference, but so it is. All right, and as we talk through this, the topic we're talking about, so now we know who we are and what our qualifications are. We've been real estate brokers now and independent brokers for 20 years, and we started knowing absolutely nothing, literally nothing.
Nothing.
Yes, nothing. And we went through all these different evolutions, right? So a little bit of the backstory is when we first started, we knew nothing, and I happened to be the broker, and I had zero experience. And then I hired Shauna as the first agent. And then I went on and I was I should run a mortgage company too at the same time. So I had no oversight, had no training, had no nothing. And it was really scary. And
looking back now, it's very scary.
No, it was totally scary. And it was before the internet. It was Ask Jeeves time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was a long time ago. So we didn't have all the resources, so it was more difficult. And I think one of the strengths now that we have is the ability to learn if we want to, right? The internet's changed so many things. So if we look at it from the time when we started till the time now, knowledge and sharing is really kind of a big deal.
Absolutely.
And we have access to so much more. And we can pick any one of the different things that we have access to learn from, whether it's YouTube, whether it's from other people, whether it's from any type of online sharing things. There's a bunch of people that share really, really well. The Loken group, I get a bunch of items from, and they do a great job of sharing down in Houston, and they kind of have this Loken Shares thing. And they're a Keller brokerage, but they share all these different things that have worked successfully for them. And they were kind of one of our inspirations for us to start sharing a lot more and giving back and doing all those things, and kind of inspiration for a little bit of how we went to external and how we share our TNT session. So thank you to the Loken Group, and chat in now if there's any other one else that shares really well on a different perspective that other people should know about.
And I think that's one of the keys to success is not keeping everything bottled up inside, but to share. You shouldn't ever worry about the competition. The competition should make you better, and you should want to be better because of it, right? And you should want to share and collaborate with everyone and soak in as much as you can from all these top brokerages.
And some of the greatest strengths are also going to be your greatest weaknesses, which is really, really weird as you kind of talk about that. So maybe you're smaller, but that means maybe you're a little bit more nimble and can react. Maybe some of our biggest things over time, if I really looked at super nimble. One of the things that we've done really well is keeping our expense structure different. And so we home officed, and that would be extremely difficult to do if we were like, pick another brand, right, on a national level. If they're like, hey, so like we don't have an office, we just like home office, how you like that? And I think when you put your own name on it, and it shows you care and you have like this pride and ownership and all those things, right? Like, so our family name's on there. And we're really proud of the brokerage. But we can home office and we can share a piece of us. And I think that a lot of the time whenever we're meeting with somebody, we talk about things like, let me not tell you what you should do, but rather let me share a piece of us, and we'll tell you what we did in that same situation and why, right? And so that's kind of what we're talking about there, is that we get to share a piece of us because we truly care. And when we do that, we help them make an informed decision based on what we've done in the past. And that's kind of like our mentality, but it's a strength because they get to know us.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And we can share a piece of us.
And that's how I look at us. We're more of on a personal level instead of it's like you work for a big corporation, right? And you go in, rarely do you ever meet the boss or the owners of that corporation. But, for us, we really love to engage in the process and in the transaction and meet the people. And we're very appreciative for each and every client that we have. And we love to do that, and also our agents.
I think the cost structure of not having a physical office totally helped us during the pandemic.
Oh.
For sure.
Yes.
It allowed
us through 2008.
Yeah, it did.
And it's helped us now. So, for sure.
I'm not actually sure that we would have survived those times if we had this office structure.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Having that expense, it's a huge expense, and I think it's passed on to, they have to pay for it somehow. So it's passed on, that expense to their agents. And we've just never done that. And sometimes people have, I've been approached by a couple of big brokers, even recently. They're always like, Shauna, you need an office. You need to come to our office. This is how we'll do it. And we're just...
You're like, actually, we kind of don't need
like
that.
to be able to go and run do some laundry.
No, but we're way more personable when you can bring a person in and say, here's what we do and why.
And, we've always done that. We've brought everybody here. And, that could be a little scary, or, we just show that we trust you. And, we've never had an issue with that.
Yeah, and so we'll knock on wood on that one, and let's not hope for one.
No.
But it allows us to share and open up and do all those things, and then cost structure. I do believe that would probably go to point number 2 of one of our greatest strengths, is I believe that because of that, we have a different profit model, which allows for the agent that works with us to have a better commission split. I think that we take that number, and we do invest a portion, we invest heavily back into the business, right? Probably way too heavily at times. And my wife reminds me of that. And, right? There's just, sometimes I get way too passionate. If we do this, it'll totally be great for everybody.
But it's got us, again,
Yeah.
It's got us to where we are. If we didn't do all of these things and be on top of technology, it's probably going to be one of your other points. But yeah.
Yeah, so chat in now if you're super happy that you have a premium commission split with Acquisto Real Estate because we don't have an office, right? And you get to keep more of that in your pocket. So that's kind of a key thing there, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of goes to point number 2. And you had another point you want to make?
Technology. So I think that's really the difference maker between an indie brokerage and a big name brokerage is they have, investors and people that will invest in their technology. And we've never had this. Fortunately for us, we have one of the techiest people that I think I would put him up against any tech person any day. But he, you brought us to this point over the years. And now when we're in a world of everything is technology, I mean, it's almost like our business is a technology business. We have to market, we have to do all these different things where real estate becomes this much of it, and it's really, really difficult. So fortunately for us, I would say that we have some pretty amazing and innovative technology that even some of the bigger brokerages don't have or offer.
So I would say I'm good with technology from a real estate perspective. I'm not like actually coding it, but I think we do a reasonably good job on our part.
You understand technology.
Yes, totally.
And you know enough. Maybe you don't code and program.
I don't code it myself.
But you know enough of how everything operates and works to be able to know how to advance us.
Yeah, no, I can I can real estate tech talk and translate from a real estate perspective to the tech guys that are working with us to be able to do it. But actually doing the physical, no, I stop there. And that's not, maybe it's not the best use of my time. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's
but
not.
We've been fortunate with so many, I guess we made enough wrong choices that eventually we got to the right stuff.
We made some, and exactly.
So that could be another strength of an independent broker is the availability to make a mistake and still stick around. So like if you're like a CEO of a company, you make a bad decision and it hurts profitability, like you're canned and you're out of there, right? And they're on to like the next person. And the vision would change with the new person that comes in. It's weird, the overreactions. You see it a lot in sports, that all of a sudden a team will go from a manager or a coach that does it one way. And all of a sudden that's not working and like the defense isn't good. So then they hire like a defensive-minded person and the offense suffers. And they're like ping-ponging back and forth on leadership and vision. And we're afforded the opportunity to screw up all the time. And then
we keep each other around. We don't fire each other. It's
right. You know what I mean? So you're afforded the opportunity to
Thanks for keeping me around.
Yeah. Hey, you as well. But it's just one of those things, right? Like, so you can make a mistake and then you can learn from it. But now we have years, decades of cataloged high points and low points in different things. So we have that reservoir of knowledge, right? And that's probably a big deal is that you don't actually get fired and you get to stay around and continue to build it up, and the continuity of management is probably a big deal. But the technology, yes, anyone wants to talk with me about technology, I'm super happy to. It'd be Mike at AcquistoRealEstate.com. Chat in now if you love talking tech with Mike. If you think words like I could even talk about marketing. Oh, Sean is chatting in now. No, so, we also kind of have invested in marketing. We've seen things that would be difficult for us, and we've started additional businesses that add on to kind of what we're doing. And so we have added some additional things with investments. And so we have the Frisco 3D listings, which is going to be a company that what it is it's a company that assists our agents and our company in general with truly marketing the property in the best possible way when we have a listing. So it does a bunch of different things there, but I think we excel because we invest in the cameras themselves, with the operators, and it allows us to streamline the process to get the best quality from start to finish at the most reasonable cost. And that's investments that we've made that really help out. And then with Deluso marketing as well, so that we can be able to market all of our listings and to be able to bring in new business, and the whole marketing company really does something else for us in that regard.
Yep.
It was crazy along those lines. I was speaking with somebody about it, and they said, you know what's really, really weird is that talented marketing people or designers or coders or pick the things that would work for a digital marketing firm. And they want to work for a marketing company, not a real estate company. So when they're hired by like Deluso Marketing, they feel like they're working for a marketing company, which they are. And the biggest client that Deluso currently has is Acquisto Real Estate. So they're doing the work for Acquisto Real Estate, getting paid by Deluso, and it's this mind shift that the talented, creative person wants to work for a marketing firm. They grew up always wanting to do that, to work at a marketing company. And they didn't grow up and being like, oh yeah, I want to work for a real estate firm and be in their marketing department.
And when you say you're in one industry or another, it's just kind of limiting. Yeah, so they want to.
So that was a strength that we were able to
Yeah.
kind of go around that and find the best path to get to the most talented people so that we could do that for our whole firm.
Yeah,
So
love it.
that's interesting. Are those enough strengths?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's one more that's really, it seems like, oh yeah, well, everyone does this, but we truly care about our agents, our business, our clients. And sometimes, like you said earlier, we kind of get the short end of the stick because of it, right? And it's okay because, it goes to show and it reminds us that we really do truly care. And everyone cares, right? But sometimes you have your own personal agenda first, or you're having to run a business and operate a business because you have a big office, so forth. And, we truly care. We really do. We listen to all of our agents. We're able to make change if we need to. If we hear a good idea or something from one of our agents, we send it to you and, you explore it. And if it's something worth, that we feel it's worth, proceeding with, then you do it. And we're able to make changes a little faster than if you were a bigger company. You have more rules and regulations that you have to follow. So.
No, I would agree with that. So the inspiration for this topic kind of came from Inman. So maybe we'll take a moment and we'll show Jim's article real quick and give him some credit here. So Jim published this article on November 9th, and he kind of talked about the biggest strengths of smaller independent brokerages. And we'll chat in the link to that and give a link directly to Jim and give him a thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah.
And in seeing this article, it allowed us to kind of just think and reflect and be like, hey, we should share some of the things that we think as well. So we're kind of commenting on something that you did, Jim. So big thank you to Inman for giving such a great writer, and to Jim for bringing up that topic that we could.
I love it.
Could give kind of our take on.
Yep.
All right. Would you feel that's good enough coverage on that topic?
I do.
All right.